Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Everybody okay?
Yeah, not too bad.
All the better for seeing you too.
Oh, I love you too, Lois. I love you too, Jay.
Cheers, darling.
I love you, Jay. I was actually being sincere, you bandit.
Hang on, I'm just going to share this out. If Tom lets
How
me.
are you, Jay? I'm missing you.
Yeah, I'm all good.
I'm just sharing this out as well as we speak.
Where's Daniel tonight?
Daniel's not. May try and get on tonight if he can. I know that he's got some issues with Wi-Fi and things, so he may or may not.
Pay the bill, so he's wiring
Yeah.
it up to next doors.
Would surprise me. No, he's I can't
You
share
really
for
should
some
go
reason.
down the market. Do you know he's never sent me that voice clip?
He's useless, isn't he?
He is.
Absolutely useless.
Useless
Hang on, let me
as
just
a chocolate
teapot.
bag.
Don't forget to let us know that you're there in the chat by saying hello, and we'll give you a shout out, everyone. Tonight, I don't know if Jay even knows, but we're talking about haunted prisons and how it can affect staff today. Now, I know over in America, the prisons are not as old as they are over here. We've got some very old prisons. Hi, Chantel.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Chantel. Hi, Gary. Hi, Nate.
Hi, Gary.
Hi,
Nate. But over here, our prisons are no audio, by the way, but I'm a retired prison guard after 30. Wow, there are some stories. Yeah, I would love to hear them. Oh, Bobby, that would be amazing. I have to get you on a Wednesday show, definitely.
That'd be interesting.
But over here, our prisons are they're not we don't have so many killers and things like they do in America. I mean, the country's bigger than over here, but our prisons are really old now. We've still got horrible Victorian prisons that have only just been updated, and I think that one in Liverpool, they still had people slopping out in buckets, didn't they, until just recently. Strangeways Prison, I think it's called. They had no toilet system or anything, and I think only now, and they rioted to get that installed in the 80s, I think. So when you think about people were having to go in buckets and slop out, and can you imagine the smell? And
no, just not.
I mean, that's got to affect prisoners mentally. You know, they're in there for a reason anyway, but when they're having to do that on top of serving their sentence, you know, if you had mental health issues, or you didn't, you're certainly going to end up with them having to do that on a daily basis. I can assure you, I wouldn't like it. So, yeah, but the prisons themselves, we have some notoriously old prisons. Now, Jay, I don't know how much you want to say or how much you can say, but we have some Victorian prisons here, early Victorian built prisons here, and some of them are still in operation today. Now, one that comes into mind for me is Wormwood Scrubs.
Yep.
And what's Bobby saying? He worked solitary for 16 years. Wow.
Segregation.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So Wormwood Scrubs, which is what I call one of the prettier looking buildings. You know, when you drive up to a prison and you have the gatehouse that you have to go in before you enter the prison itself.
Yeah.
It's one of the prettier looking prison gatehouses. It's very, very pretty on the outside. But once you drive in, it seems to change a little bit then. But it's one of these prisons that has, and it's quite notorious, and I know this because of someone that I know that works there and still works there. They have one particular cell that if they put prisoners in, they seem to commit suicide. even if they weren't on suicide watch, you know, model prisoner, put them in that cell, within a week they're dead. So the prison had decided to turn that particular cell just into a holding cell. So when they were moving prisoners from prison to prison, like they do, they would only use that cell to hold that prisoner before the move goes on. And they would make sure whatever prisoner went in there, they were automatically put on suicide watch, because it was notorious for people just killing themselves for no reason. And she said that she'd had to go into that cell on a couple of occasions and help cut somebody down. They survived, but they all do the same thing with trying to hang themselves.
Ligature.
So it makes you wonder, these prisons, some of them are very haunted, but do they have an effect on the prisoners themselves or even the staff, which is the subject of tonight's show?
I think they probably would.
But how would that affect you? What are your thoughts on that, Jay?
Well, not going into too much detail, but most prisons are, like you say, Victorian, built in 1800s. You know, most prisons had gallows. They had their hanging stations. So it does date back, and it was quite brutal as well. It wasn't like nowadays. You know, you can't hardly touch them and stuff. It's like it was proper brutal. Do you know what I mean? Prison was meant to be it was prison. You know, I've seen the documentaries and stuff. It's like Butlins, you know. But I think that if you go into a prison, then it's everyone, because, like Bobby said, segregation is for people that have done naughty stuff. You know, who've discharged, got a fight, or got into drugs, whatever, and the atmosphere that creates on people, and with the like if it's haunted as well, the energy will thrive on that, you know, and it will just put the situation into a different kettle of fish, you know. And so it was normally. I reckon it will play on a big part of the mental health. But yeah, I think any prison you'll go to, you'll have some kind of haunting, or because the inmates in there. Because the inmates have created that situation, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I think it'll thrive on what they're feeling as well. You know.
Do you think, Lois, that if let's say there's a
hello, you man.
Hello. If there's like, let's say, I don't know. Let's just take Howard. What's his name? Dr. Shipman, for an example.
Right.
He killed a lot of people, and he got arrested, and he went to prison. Do you think, at any point, that these murderers have some of the victims that they'd killed follow them to prison and then try and sort of mess them up in prison? Do you think that can occur?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they always say that, you know, whatever you do comes back to bite you 10 in the backside. So I wouldn't be quite surprised if that's what happens. And then what you think about is, like, whoever's before you, as a person in a prison, you've got to deal with not only just your energies and what you've done. You could be dealing with God knows how many's been in that cell before you as energies, and that could have also a negative impact, because all the residue energy that that builds it, you know, it'll be a continuous cycle.
Because you did psychology, didn't you? Degree. What did you do? You passed it. Your psychology thing that you did.
My criminal psychology.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's Kelly messaging me.
No, you're fine. But yeah, it will be, and as well, you know, I believe when people in the prisons become crazy, I think it has a lot to do that probably is a lot of things that it could be paranormal.
Yeah. Oh, we got some messages. Hang on. Are we done that one?
Hey,
Hi,
Bri.
Bri. He says, I think dimensions and the way they were built cause the type of frequency that causes depression. I don't know. I mean, Pentonville Prison, I think, is the only prison in the UK that still has its. Hi, William. It still has its gallows. I mean, the thing that housed the gallows, it's all still set up, so they can get that going at a moment's notice and hang someone. But I don't think the other prisons have that anymore, because I think that when it was abolished, they took that facility out and made use of those rooms. But now I think today Pentonville is the only prison, I believe, that my friend Donna had told me, that is still equipped to at a moment's notice, they can get the rope up, the trapdoor is still there, and they can still hang people. But where it was abolished in the UK, there's no need for it now. But I think they have to have it for, I don't know, for whatever reason, because I think you can still be executed for treason in this country. That's the only.
You can.
I think we had this conversation a few shows ago. We were talking about this, and treason came up, and I don't know whether it was you or Dan had turned around and had said somebody got done for treason.
You can still get done for treason. You can still get
executed for it. Yeah. So yeah, and do you know what? To be honest, I think hanging is quite a brutal way to go. I've just quickly glanced at Bobby mentioning old Sparky. If it was me and I had to be executed and I could choose the way in which I was going to be executed, I think the electric chair would be the one for me. Because it is so quick. I say quick, I mean to the person being electrocuted, it's less harmful and detrimental. You know, with the people say about lethal injection, and I know that lethal injection is not a couple of injections on the day. It starts days beforehand with having your antihistamines injected in and all the rest of it, and it's a long process being injected, and sometimes people don't always, it takes a long time to die on the lethal injection because they were getting it wrong over there, and people were having some gruesome deaths. So for me, I would choose the electric chair all day long.
Do you know, funny enough, I did a show on this and we were talking about death row, because me and Rosie were talking, and I didn't realise actually how many states in America still has the death penalty, and it was very, very surprising. And the different ways of obviously executing the death penalty. So I would even go as far to say is maybe hauntings when they're getting death penalties, because how many people do they do in a year I know it's in Scotland there, in America.
On death row, they spend years, don't they? Yeah.
I kind of don't agree with that one, because it's like somebody's waiting and waiting and waiting, and as you say, Viv, it could be up to in like 30 years that somebody could be in death row for, you know, and it's crazy.
Do they have the is it, Bobby will know if it's in their constitution where they have the right to so many appeals? So a lot of that could be they're waiting on death row, they're appealing their case. That might take a time to build up the appeal. Then they go to court, and they're allowed so many appeals. And if the appeals keep getting rejected, doesn't it go to the governor for the last stay of execution? And if he denies he denies it, then they set the execution. But I think over there they have a process. I don't think they can just literally kill.
But that can take years though to get the documents and that for it.
Exactly.
You know.
There's a level of those come right in 6 years. Children usually require protection. Yeah. I do you know what? I don't know how I would feel if I was in a prison and I had to share a cell with a known child abuser. I think that I would have to do something. It's just human nature, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
So-
can't remember, is it Scotland or England? I'm sure it's Scotland. There's a guy that's confined, and he came up in my youth feed, and I watched a documentary about this. The guy is the only man who spent so long in solitary confinement, and he's spent that long. He's actually got a glass panel because
There's one of my I write him, he's a pen friend of mine, that Charlie Bronson, and he's done 38 years now in solitary
40 years he's done.
40 years, something like that, in solitary confinement. And the only reason he's in solitary confinement is because he keeps beating up the not the prisoners, but the prison
the
guards.
officers.
Yeah, and he doesn't know how to deal with his emotions now, so he gets it's really sad because they put him on this thing called the merry-go-round, and what that is he doesn't get settled in one prison. They keep changing prisons, so you go to this prison for this amount of time, this one, then they call it the merry-go-round. And if he doesn't get on with a prison guard or something like that, they'll stop his visits, and his visits are everything to him. And I remember one time, this was at Whitemore Prison, they told him while he was in the gym working out, and they told him that he was looking forward to his brother's or his son, a family member was coming to visit him, and he was looking forward to it. And when he was in the gym working out, one guy just said, "Oh, your brother's not coming." Why? Your brother's just not coming because we said so. That was it. He kicked off. You know, you don't say your brother's not coming and that's it. You give a reason. But they did that purely to get the reaction. And of course, he did react, which was wrong. And then he was throwing the gym equipment around. The gym equipment's quite heavy. He's a big, strong bloke, he is, even in he's a pensioner. But he was throwing it around. And the only way that they could get him to calm down was to send the dogs in. And the dogs then eventually calmed him down, and they got him in, put him back in his cell. But then they used that as an excuse to send him to another prison. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to do it, just send him. But you don't need to play silly games. I think that's where the system fails.
He's actually appealing to he's going to be the first one to have his publicly the parole, and he goes for parole. He wants it in public. He wants the TV watching.
He keeps getting denied parole because he did take hostage.
Yeah.
So he took his art teacher.
He took 3 Iraqis hostage because I watched the James English. I shouldn't laugh, but it's so funny because it's no funny, but it is funny because that was the one that James English interviewed his son, and he says, "What about the 3 Iraqis he took hostage?" And he put one under the bed. He put one. He strung him up, and he got the third one to tickle his feet. And he made 3 demands. The first demand was he wanted a AK something gun, right? He wanted a helicopter, and he wanted jam sandwiches. And his son said to him, "Why jam sandwiches?" He says, "Because I was hungry."
The thing is, I think all those years inside has done something to him. I mean, he's not mentally stable. You don't know how he's going to react. And if he does that on the outside, I mean, he told me in letters that if he gets parole, he wanted to go and visit schools and tell children how crime did not pay. Because at the end of the day, his original sentence was for armed robbery. That's it. And now, after serving all these years and in solitary, he wants to sort of get that message out that he does have regrets. But mentally, and I'm saying that like from his letters and what I'm reading, and even from his books, I don't think this guy. But this is my personal opinion, and I'm not I'm not sort of educated in psychology and things, but even I see it. He's not right. But we got some more comments, guys. Bobby has old Sparky at our prison. Oh, wow.
Oh.
I bet you could tell a tale about that as well. I think if somebody murdered me, I'd follow them and torment them till their end.
I would as well.
I would.
Oh, dear. Not always. I think he's talking about the term that you spend in death row. He's saying not always, I think. So Nick says he would rather choose the electric chair. Yeah, I agree, Nick. He shared the show. Thanks, Nick. You're a star.
Thanks, Nick.
Cheers, Nick. I think I'd have a firing squad.
We have so many people on death row. The culture seems to like to kill people. I don't know. I think the culture thing is. I think they refer to the Bible, isn't it? Like a tooth for a tooth and all that sort of thing. You could even bring religion into it. It's just a human reaction. Not right on a lot of occasions. It doesn't make sure if you take a life doesn't mean that you're getting justice for this life that had been taken. You know, because but that's me personally. I don't think the death penalty should be there, but sometimes I think certain acts does call for the death penalty. I wish that they would reinstate it in England.
I disagree about that comment, really, to be fair. I do in a way like yourself, Viv. But if you've done homicide murders, you've killed 6, 7, 8 people, then I think you should go bang straight onto death row because you've taken 8 or 9 people out of the equation, and then so taxpayers' money will pay him to stay there without for life. Yeah. He's just going to sit there and rot. But I still reckon if you've done like chronic murder, then I think you should. If you've done something like that, I think you should get the chair or firing squad or stuff like that because.
But Bobby's made a good case. He's made a good case. He says in that case you have to think of the victim. So if it takes years to execute a person who raped and murdered a child, honestly, I think I mean, I'm all for the death penalty if the truth be told, but for certain crimes, and that's all. But for raping and murder, especially children, women, anyone, if you murder anyone, and it has to be looked at extensively, and you can't have what I call a kangaroo judge saying you're guilty, go and die sort of thing. I think it has to be done properly. And I think America does do it properly. Out in the Middle East, you have just a room full of men that sit and discuss a case. And if you're found guilty, you're taken round the back and you're beheaded there and then. There's no stay of execution or anything like that. It is quite horrific when you think about it. But that's their laws, and it's been like that for many hundreds of years. So, yeah. Some inmates see their life in solitary. They just can't function in general population or for prison. That is true. They can get, what's the word? They get used to their life that they're living. So whether it's solitary or prison. Some people can't survive outside of prison, don't commit a crime, so they're straight back in.
They're back in, yeah.
Do you know what? I totally agree with that. I've grew up with boys, and I've got like a cousin of mine that just can't see by the jail, and I'm like, why not? I says, I want to understand this. I really want to understand what it is about, obviously, that life inside. But then I think
a friend of mine said to me once, well, he's dead now, but he said to me that when I'm in prison, I get heating, lighting, a roof over my head, and 3 square meals a day. When I'm outside of prison, I struggle to pay my heating and lighting. He said, I certainly don't eat 3 square meals a day. He said, I eat 1 meal a day. That's all I can afford. And I get no help. And it's a struggle. Life is a struggle, a daily struggle. So he turns to crime, drugs, whatever, to help pay those bills. So then he ends up back in prison. And he says when he's in prison, he lives a more healthier life. And I just can't get my head around that. I really can't.
It is. It's just how some people can function, and you know, I've had the pleasure of investigating one of your jails in Scotland.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was the bestest investigation I've ever done, but if I had to pick, I would go to America. I really want to do
yes.
the Eastern. Is it Eastern
Let's-
State Penitentiary?
Let's all go to America and investigate with Nick.
Yeah, Nick. Woo! What?
Here in the United States, roughly half of the states here still have the death penalty, especially Texas. Here in Illinois, however, we abolished the death penalty in 2010. Our harshest prison sentence now is life without the possibility of parole. Just Texas, I think, was the only state that still had in operation
I'm sure that Texas is still the one.
Death by firing squad. It was the only one that still did it. I think that was the only state had the death by firing squad. Maybe somebody from America would let us know. We've got to behave now.
I've arrived. Where am I? I'm there. How's everybody?
I'm
sorry. I'm late, everybody. I'm late.
I've got a bone to pick with you, so when we come off the show.
You can pick any bone you want with me. Is it to do with your new name?
We can't say it on here. It's American channel.
No. Unfortunately, it's all to do with Lois. It's absolutely nothing.
He's throwing you under the bus, Lois.
Don't blame a one bandit.
How's everybody this evening?
Yeah, all right,
Yeah,
thanks.
What's the topic of conversation?
He's forgotten already, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I'm reading the.
Haunted
Oh, very good indeed.
So, Nick says most recent state to abolish the death penalty this year was Virginia.
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
40 years he could not cope with the outside. Oh.
I don't think he would.
Oh yeah, most daily mass shootings and stuff. Those people that commit those mass shootings, not only do they deserve to be executed, but they deserve to be put in the most haunted cell that you could possibly find, and hope the spirits have a go as well at the same time before he gets executed, to really put the shits out of him.
Yeah, definitely.
I can be so vicious and nasty.
But then it comes back down to American gun laws, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh, you Chantal!
Chantal! I've never been a supporter of the pet, but I've had some exceptions, especially for criminals who show no remorse or regret for the crimes.
Yeah.
I'm the same as Nick.
Oh,
Exactly the same as Nick. I'm a pacifist, but there are quite a few people out there that deserve it.
Child murderers should be eliminated straight away.
Right.
Completely agree.
Did you just say that you're a pastor?
Pacifist. Pacifist.
Oh, right. I was like, pastor? Dad? What the?
You know I'm a pastor.
Pasta bake.
I've confused leader.
We continue to execute many innocent people. Even proof comes in if someone's innocent. Many states have time lines that can be permitted in. They ignore anything that comes after. I don't they do like not a stay of execution, but once they've been executed.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, over here we get a royal pardon. I think Derek Bentley got a royal pardon, didn't he, Dan?
I think he did.
Bentley,
I think he did. I mean, the case with Derek Bentley is that Derek Bentley wasn't really of what you call sound mind, was he? I think he had the age of 5 or 6. I can't remember what it was, but he was really he was persecuted purely and simply because they couldn't get Christopher Craig, because he was too young. Christopher Craig was the instigator of it, and then Christopher Craig lives the full life, gets himself a degree, and makes a fortune off the back of it. So, whereas the other poor soul, who was a bit, for want of a better description, simple, got hanged because he was old. He was the only one that was old enough to be condemned.
That's right. Yeah. Chantel says, I fantasize about committing a certain crime several times a day at work sometimes. I've been there. But then I think of having to be a little spoon to someone called Big Mama. Oh dear. Utah does as well. I think that the death penalty. Here we go. The most notorious prison in Texas has the most active execution chamber is Huntsville Unit, which is also the oldest operating prison in the state. Originally, it opened in 1849, and that is interesting.
That would be a real interesting one. I would love to know what you find in these execution and where they get the death penalty and things like that. I would love to do, an EVP session in that, because I think what you would get away with it would be phenomenal.
Dan, have you got your fan near you?
Yeah, sorry, hang on. Yeah, that's awesome.
From what I remember hearing from the means of execution in Texas is that between 1819 and 1923, the method of execution was hanging until Texas authorized the use of the electric chair. To use the electric chair ended the execution of death sentences by counties in Texas. The chair often, of course, was euphemistically called
Old Sparky,
but was constructed by inmates as a result. Between 1924 and 1964, 362 inmates were executed.
Wow.
By electrocution.
Oh, wow.
I did
a lot.
I did read a book called Execution Protocol. Now I believe that is up in my loft, and it was one of the guys he invented the electric chair as you know it today. So he took the old contraptions, because it didn't kill people straight away, and there was problems with the sponge and all the rest of it.
The sponge and that, yeah.
So apparently he invented the electric chair as it was today, and he went through all the methods of electrocution. And in that book, it's quite interesting. The last few pages, he writes, out of all the methods of execution that there is today, his choice would be the electric chair, and this is why. And he goes into great detail how it's less painful, it's this, that, and the other, blah, 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 and it's the most humane, and da, da, da. And it is a mind-blowing book. But I remember that.
Blood.
Yeah, it's called.
It actually boils your blood.
And it kills you so quickly. But he said,
if they do it properly.
If they do it properly. But he's saying that the injection starts 2 days before, that they have to have these precursors to the drugs that they're going to give you later on. So you're going through that hell. You've had your first injection of antihistamine. It's the first one they give you. So that is the 2 days before you're actually executed. So literally, when you think about it, your execution is going to take 2 days. It's longer than you think it is.
So you're actually suffering, if you weigh that up, you're actually suffering a lot more than what you're going to be suffering anyway when you get the final injection.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy, isn't it?
Crazy.
Crazy.
Wow.
That's
Do you know, would that execution room, so that actual execution room, we'll just take that one prison in Huntsville, that room that is used to execute all those prisoners, could you imagine if that the very reminiscence of the electrocution itself, or even the prisoner's energy staying in that room, how haunted that room would be? Because they would just clean up.
I would suspect.
I reckon the chair is.
There would be more activity on death row, because that's where they spent the years going up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where they would have lived their lives, knowing that they were going to be. They were on. Death row. Every time one went down, they'd move a cell further up or what have you. I'm not quite sure how it works. That might just be Hollywood, but I would think that that's the case. It's like in Japan. I think it's. Is it Japan? I think it's China. No, it might be. Or is it Japan? It's one of those countries, China or Japan. I can't remember which one. It could be China. But what they do, which I think is actually, I think it's good for people like severe sex offenders or child molesters or murder or what have you, like real nasty crimes. What they do is they deposit the person in a box that's about, well, you can't stand up and you can't stretch out, so it's impossible more or less to sleep. It's pitch black. And they don't give you an execution date. They just tell you that you're going to be executed. And then every time that somebody comes up and down past your little room, you don't know whether that's going to be the last time that they're going to pull you or what have you. You just don't know when it's going to be. So it's like psychological torture as well.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I know it sounds horrendous, but then the crimes that those people have committed, I think it's the end justifies the means. To be honest, I know it sounds horrible, but
you know, why not take them? Why not take them? If you're going to execute them, then just take them and execute them. Have done with it. Why waste the taxpayers' money on feeding them, heating them?
I don't think they feed them much, Viv, or I don't think. I just think they leave them in these little boxes, throwing the odd scraps in and stuff like that. Because I don't think China's not really very up on human rights, is it?
Human rights, is it? No.
That's why they've got the lowest crime rate in the whole entire world.
It's China.
I think it's either China or Japan have got the lowest crime rate ever, and it's due to how strict they are. And obviously,
it must be. I think it might be China because I know Japan's got the highest amount of serial killers, isn't it?
It's got a few, yeah.
Japan's rotten with them, isn't it? Apparently, it's like tons and tons of them.
And not just serial killers. You have the cannibalistic ones as well that are eating each other in Japan. It's been known, but yeah. Nick's saying, and no doubt that Huntsville is definitely
haunted.
Things not working. Death unit is definitely haunted.
Definitely haunted. Yeah. Not surprised.
I've had the pleasure of investigating Stirling Jail, and as I said, I just didn't get much fear. You know, I felt sedated and I went up the stairs, but when I came back down, I felt fine. But in the way, I feel that Mayor, as you've all discussed tonight, that, you know, the proper paranormal is going to be in Death Row.
Yeah. That's where all the anguish, I think, is probably going to be, isn't it? All the pain and suffering, and you know.
What about like we Dan and I earlier this year had the pleasure of investigating a prison.
We did,
and we had it's a very old prison.
I've been lazy. Sorry, I can't. It's only what I'm getting comfortable. Sorry.
And it's housed lots and lots of all sorts of prisoners over the decades, right into the craze. It had the craze there for a little while.
It did.
But we was quite astonished. Now, we never did the history on it. We knew a few bits and pieces. That was about it. And we went and we did an investigation. Now, unbeknownst to us, I mean, we used Nobulus.
We did.
And we kept hearing this name, Brooks. Brooke. Is it Brooke or Brooks? Brooke,
I think.
Brooke.
Yes, because we thought, didn't we? We thought, is it somebody who's turning a Brooke? Or, well, obviously, your mind tries to make sense of it.
Was you a prisoner here? Yes. What's your name? Brooke. Kept saying Brooke. So it even referred to when Dan had his boot on and he had his cane. He could barely walk. You know, he'd broken his ankle again for the second time, I think. And even on that Ovulus, now we weren't a big fan of the Ovulus really, but we were using it because it was an extra piece of equipment that we had, and it said to Dan, "You've hurt your leg." We were getting sentences, right?
You've hurt your leg, and are you okay?
Yeah. So Brooke was asking Dan if he was okay. You've hurt your leg, and it was telling us. Brooke was telling us that they went up. Was it they went up?
I went up.
I went up, and they were talking about the air, right? So it was all like really like gobbledygook. Anyway, the curator of the museum happened to be in the one of the curators. She was in the reception. That she held lots of records. And in the break, I went up to her and I said, "Excuse me, I hope you don't mind me asking." I said, "Do you have a list of prisoners that you can access?" She says, "Oh, yeah, I have a list of some prisoners that I can access." I said, "Was anyone here incarcerated called Brooke or Brooks?" So she went through her list and she said, no, there's no one there called Brooke or Brooks. I said, "Oh, okay." And then she said, "Could it have been a female prisoner?" I went, "You what?" She said, "We had female prisoners here."
Oh, wow.
Which we didn't know. And it isn't outwardly publicised that they had these female prisoners. So she checked the female prisoner list, which are very far and few between. But there she was in all her glory, Jane Brooke.
Oh my God!
She
Wow.
was accused of witchcraft, incarcerated there along with 3 other women. One of them died incarcerated there of natural causes. The other 2, of which Jane Brooke was one of them, was taken out to the market square and she was hung on grounds of witchcraft. So she did go up in the air when she was.
So that's what she was trying to tell you, that she'd been up in the air.
Yeah, we think that's what she was saying, but it was
Oh, wow.
she was a pleasant spirit, bless her.
Yeah, but she was like, her time in the prison, obviously it meant something, or it, she was still there reliving her life in the prison. And we went in the very old cell where she would have been in.
That was the interesting part when she got ready for.
I put my head in it. I was too scared to go in and stand up because it was not
She
very
got very
nice.
vocal, didn't she? When we started to sort of potter around the really old part of the prison, is when she sort of came forward, wasn't it, and started communicating.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. It was interesting.
So she was in there for a few years for reasons of witchery. I can't get my head around that because
no, it's just they're like them days.
But, and how she was treated, and then she was executed, but she still hangs around that prison, which is predominantly a male prison. But I found that very interesting, and how that one piece of equipment, the Ovulus, enabled us to find that information out. We heard Brooke. She was talking to Dan. She liked Dan, didn't she?
She was all right.
Soft spot for you.
I can see why. Me and Jane will need to have a word now.
I think she was
her.
Just nice, wasn't she?
She was your ghostly girlfriend for the evening.
She's my bird.
She was his bird.
Your bird.
I can't keep up with all these women. I'm beginning to get grey hair.
Yeah, but most of them are ghosts.
Yeah. Oh dear. Let's see what we got a comment here. Bobby says, still no matter how bad the crimes may be, a con has a right to fight the sentence until all avenues is exhausted. And that could take many years, even in capital cases.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
But so haunted prisons. Now, do they affect staff? Can they affect staff? The prison officers, the cleaners, the
inmates?
We've done the inmates. We're talking about the staff now.
Yeah, I think.
How could haunted prisons really affect the staff with the hauntings alone, standalone?
I could imagine it would.
It would. And also, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, right? You can get your good coppers, but you could get also your bad ones and your bent ones. So if they know they've done wrong by a prisoner, and heaven forbid whatever circumstances happen, to go to death to an inmate, they've got to live with that for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they sort of hauntings were happening.
What about you, Joe? What do you think about it? Or can you say?
I think, well, like anything really, if the inmates are playing up, then it has an effect on your mental health, especially like with the energy and hours and stuff. It does break people down, and they're just taking little bits and bits and bits. And then, like you say, if it is a haunted prison, then it will take bits off them, if you know what I mean, as well, because they're not fully strength. Then the spirit's got something to attack because the barrier's down, and they've got a weak link, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I'm saying? They've got that urge now to go across.
If there was a poltergeist case in a prison, you're never going to hear about it because can you imagine being a prison officer and you say you walk past an empty cell and a kettle come flying at my head for no reason at all? They're going to think you're mad. So the prison officers are not going to report half of the things that they see or experience for fear of being made to look an idiot, because you're in a position of authority, really, when you think about it, and you're responsible for all these people on your wing or whatever, if you start talking about this strange kettle come flying through the air and hit me on the edge, they're going to think you're crackpot, and they're going to send you off on sick till you're evaluated okay to come back to work. And people can't afford to do that these days. So do you think that there is more that goes on in these older prisons than really it's reported or the prison officers actually talk about?
It probably happens all the time. It probably does, and as you say, Viv, this comes back to what if inmates go in with no mental health issues at all and start seeing things? Then,
Well, yeah.
as you say, it's going to be deemed as you're nuts and medicate them up to hell. So it's going to be the exact same for the staff. You know what? I've had the company somebody that's not worked in prisons, but does work with mental health, and we always record lives, as you know, when you do live investigations. And she made the point, I can't be seen out with yous. She dodged the camera all night because she says, I can't be seen out with yous because how can I sit there and say to somebody that says that they hear voices or sees things and they ghost hunting, and
I understand that.
If I was, I know if I was locked up, and let's say I was locked up and Dan was a prison officer, and he'd walk past and he'd make his comments like he does, I'll be like,
I'll be flipping your snout and chocolate.
Oh no, I'll be pulling the mattress out and chucking the mattress at you. I'll be taking the shoes off and throwing them at you. Just for something to do and for attention, I suppose. And so those actions, if I can continually doing that to Dan, those actions and that energy that was built up, like getting excited to throw something at Dan as he walked past, shit past or whatever, that energy's got to stick in the wall, surely, and still play out over
That's
years.
the thing, and there's a lot of anguish, anger, sorrow, all those in those walls. There was a prison in England. I can't remember. I must look up the case. It was probably 50s, 60s. I can't really remember now. But they emptied it because of activity.
Yeah.
And then they said,
Holloway.
Of all people, they put
Holloway.
the army in.
Holloway.
No, this was somewhere out in Devon. This one.
Down near the Moors.
I have no idea. It was in Devon, I think, this one. And they put the army in there. Then the army were in there 2 weeks, and then they got out of it. And then they just completely, I don't know what they done, closed it down, shut it down, pulled it down. I'm not sure whatever happened to it. But the army left as well after 2 weeks, and we can't, what can we do? You can't fight the invisible.
Nick says, can you imagine if you're working as a guard in an old historic prison that has executed countless of inmates and experienced activity on a regular basis throughout your shift?
Yeah.
That's got to grind you down, surely. You'll end up losing the plot.
What happens, right, in these prisons, right? And I would love for any stories to come forward to this, but how could prison guards justify if a prisoner turns around and describes to a T the last person that was in there before them, but they've never known that person that was there in the paper?
Yeah.
Nick says, I know Alcatraz and East Dayton Penitentiary that has had issues while they were both in operation. I was lucky to go to Alcatraz.
And
I've been up in the gun gallery, and I know that they stop people from going up there now. I mean, we did it in the evening. Yeah, we did it in the evening, and we went on the gun gallery, and we saw all of it, and had a thorough investigation. It was brilliant, and they do still hire it, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So Bobby says, actually, it's not the case. In dorm settings, sometimes things get thrown at or by the officer by the cons, especially if you have a Percy type. But yeah, no, it's an interesting. It's interesting, isn't it? This about the prison thing.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it is very.
I mean, we've had some activity in some strange places. I mean, at that particular prison, some of our friends, their sons, who was scared to investigate, actually had activity in the shower block.
Oh,
Didn't
yes.
they, Dan?
Yeah, they did. They did.
And his friend, as a joke, says, bend over as though you're going to pick up soap. as a joke. And so the friend bent over as though he's picking up soap. And automatically he got touched on a certain part of his body, which scared him to the point that he ran out screaming because they didn't expect it to happen. They got so frightened that both of them legged it. But they always say, be careful what you ask for. You know, they asked for it, it happened.
That's why Dan gets it all the time in the bum when he's out because he keeps
just ask for it.
Yeah, that's it. You're like, take me now.
I'm renounced. Grab my bum.
Speaking of haunting, I'll be heading out investigating Mansfield Reform.
Oh, Jeremy. Oh, that'll be
with Jeremy.
That sounds
good. That'd be great.
That sounds brilliant.
Let us know. You get on, Nick. That'd be
definitely,
brilliant.
please.
Definitely.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I think Jeremy goes off to have his operation soon, so I think he's going to be out of action for a while after that.
Oh,
so
he will.
It'd be great. It'll be great for him to get out before he sort of goes out of under the radar for a while, if you like, while he's recuperating.
Oh, try to go live. That'd be good, Nick, if you do.
Yeah, if you could.
Bobby said,
that'd be interesting, yeah.
It's the New York Correctional Facility.
Guess what?
That's
I
Bobby.
do need to tell people that Nick is going to get he's looking for a patch for his jacket at the moment, and it's got to have a cockroach on it. So if you see a patch with a cockroach on it, get it and send it.
Get hold of it and send it, Nick.
Yeah. So that's quite important. This cockroach patch, Nick's he loves cockroaches, by the way.
Oh, does that mean means he'll be out all through Halloween then, I guess, doesn't it, Nick? Surgery September.
Yeah.
I'm working at the New York one.
A Max A security, blimey. So you must get all sorts, like not just killers, but the mentally deranged, all sorts of
Not the cockroach.
Yeah, he does like cockroaches. He does. Yeah, cockroach. So we're going to get him a patch of a cockroach and send it over to him.
We've got pet cockroaches. Fox has got pet cockroaches.
The hissing ones.
Yeah, he loves them.
Nick's favourite. They're Nick's favourite.
Madagascar hissing cockroaches. My boy's got pet. They're his pets. He absolutely loves them.
Oh,
they're really cool animals, actually.
They proper smell.
Nah, they're all right.
Don't they survive? They're known to survive. They're one of the animals they reckon that would survive a human
atomic blast.
Nuclear blast. Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
Patches.
No hissing cockroach patches. Yes, get one.
Oh.
Was originally a facility for violent mental defectives.
Bloody hell, I bet that's awesome.
Wow.
I bet that's awesome activity.
Is that not like, and I think is it England, or it could be everywhere. They're under certain classes, and the class A. If I remember this right, I watched it for a James English podcast. The class.
Oh, he's good, James English. I like him.
Triple A. I think is your right, proper, dangerous ones.
So a Cat A is your Belmarsh and stuff. That is high security. Yes, that's where all like the London bombings go and stuff like that.
Don't they have what's that one? Broadmoor Prison, which is
hospital.
They call it a prison, but it's not. It's a hospital.
No, it's a mental hospital. Yeah,
it's a hospital. So it's actually outside of the prison system. It's actually classed as a hospital.
Reggie or Ronnie?
Reggie was in there, wasn't they?
It was Ronnie who was in there. He was in Broadmoor.
Yeah, and then you have one down from that, which is still bad. It's still like Broadmoor, which is Roehampton Hospital, which I believe you'll find that
White House. It's called.
Oh God.
You got Albany, not on the Isle of Wight. Is Albany still there on the Isle of Wight? That was Cat.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it, but that's a different prison. I'll tell you after.
There's
Albany.
Yeah. It's
In
still there.
Scotland, we've
That
got.
was Cat A. When it used to be Cat A years ago, he's put all the
Yeah.
dodgy
Charles-
ones in there.
Charles Bronson was sent to Roehampton first, and they couldn't deal with him because he attacked somebody because he was known, or he found out that he fiddled with children.
Mm.
So he went to kill him. It didn't kill him though, and then he was sent to Broadmoor after that. And then Broadmoor couldn't deal with him, so they deemed him sane just to get rid of him. Get him out.
That's really funny.
But then he was only a couple of months out of prison, and then he did something. He stole a ring. Yeah, and straight back into prison. But that's another story. But it's quite funny that you have the hospital side of it, which is not prison, but you think it's a prison, but it's not. It's completely separate. But I don't think they have that in America, do they? They mix them all in together. They're real bad nut jobs, as I call them.
Nut jobs.
Nut jobs.
The
Nut
Looney
jobs.
Tunes. We call them Looney Tunes as well, didn't we?
I've heard of Dartmoor Prison. Isn't that one planning on closing?
It's been around for about 200 years now, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
proper. You can never get out of there, and you'd never get anywhere because you're in the middle of the moors.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read a part of an old logbook at the early 1900s where a teenager was sent to Easton for life for stealing a bicycle. Oh, it's terrible.
Well, we had them over here, didn't we? We had them over here that you could be actually hanged, but there were people hanged. A lot of them were kids. I think it was an 11-year-old boy and a 13-year-old girl, and they were hanged for setting light to a haystack.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Or stealing a sheep or a pig. You get hanged for that.
Hung for a lamb as a sheep, and it's.
Yeah, you could be starving, hungry, stealing over bread. You get hanged for it.
We were hanging people left, right, and centre over here, weren't we?
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned Ruth Ellis earlier, which was a particularly sad case.
I think that was Annette was saying that she was watching it or something.
Oh, was it? Yeah, it was a particularly sad case. I mean, she was treated like crap by this fella, to be honest. He treated her like with disdain, and he treated her really badly. And he used to go behind her back and do all sorts of nonsense. And he was a bit of a playboy. And she copped the hump with it, quite rightly, but she just lost it and got a gun and went and killed him.
Yeah, but what they don't tell you is that Ruth Ellis was also a known prostitute, known entertainment girl, and she did not just drink, but she did other things as well.
She ran the clubs.
Yeah, and people say, "Oh, poor Ruth Ellis." Well, yeah, poor Ruth Ellis, but that crime was a crime of passion. She wanted a man that she couldn't really have, lost it, and shot him. End of.
But is it France? I don't know if it still is crime of passion now in France, is it? Where they let you off for, well, they used to let you off, didn't they? If it was deemed a crime of passion.
I don't know.
They used to, crime of passion.
I know that in France they had the guillotine,
and they don't wash.
They took it away from public executions and had the guillotine behind closed doors, and they were still executing people right up till 1977. 1977 was the last time they executed somebody by guillotine. How bad is that?
And they used to garrote people, didn't they?
She's losing it because they didn't wash.
Lost it. You know what? I'm going to make this. I'll tell everybody now. I'm actually banned from Norway.
Why?
Because
you didn't wash.
You tell them that they didn't wash.
You didn't wash.
French. No, because they were. This is I'm proud of this. They did talk about upsetting the nations. Banned from Norway because they did the thing on wolf culling, and they had a certain amount of wolves. They were down to 100. No, they were down to 100 wolves. It's not a sustainable amount of number anyway, and they wanted to bring it down even further. And so I got a petition up and got onto the Norwegian government and made a complete pain in the arse of myself. And they said, right, and I was meant to go there to do a study of the wolves that they had left there. They were, you can't come here. You're not welcome.
Do you know when you said you were banned from Norway, I was expecting something else.
What's that?
See, when you said you were banned, I know what, he kills me every time. Do you know when you said you were banned for Norway, I was expecting the story to be a lot worse.
No.
Yeah, Nick, Those French are not very nice, you know, honestly. They're
No,
or,
all clean.
have you been banned from a country, Lois?
Yeah, England.
That's only because I'm Scottish. No, I haven't been. I've actually been a good lassie.
What about you, Parker? Have you been banned from a
Not
country?
really, no.
Flashing.
I've been banned. I've been banned from Kuwait because
What
that's down to my dad. He
Oh.
told a Kuwaiti prince no, like he wanted something done, and my dad said no. And he said, "Yeah, but you know, I want this, and he said, "No, I can't do that." And it was just
And they
something
didn't like
ridiculous
that.
thing. And he didn't like it, so he threatened, because I was with my dad working for Kuwait Airways. He threatened my dad and me with death if we ever step foot in Kuwait. But guess what? I've been to Kuwait since then, and nothing happened to me, so I must have forgotten about it.
I'm hoping I can be back in the way. It's like my mate said to me, "Well, how bad have you got to be when they get banned by Vikings?"
Yeah, but Dan, you could slip in and nobody would notice, honestly.
No.
See if you dressed like dressed up as like the nuns. That
Yeah.
film where Robbie Keane. You can't ignore me, no problem.
I reckon I'll get in now. What sound of music?
Nick's been a book. Honestly, Nick, it's not worth it. If they tell you that you're banned, but if you was to go back, they'd forget about it.
Yeah, I think it's just them flapping their tongues and
You should
It's
get
not wanted by Interpol or anything like that.
Dan, just change your name in your passport.
They would never know, would they? Never know.
Do you know, Lois, he's got 2 passports as it is. He's got a British one or European one and an
Ooh.
Irish one. He's got 2. I had to give up my dual nationality. I couldn't keep 2 passports because the law changed. So I had to surrender one of my passports. So I surrendered the foreign one and kept the British one. But Dan was able to keep 2 passports.
That's because neither country wants me.
Yeah.
They're trying to push me over each other's borders.
Oh dear, that's funny.
God.
It's funny. Oh dear. So yeah, we've
Nick says
we've
it's
had-
has yet to happen to him.
it's been a good boy.
The day will come, Nick. The day will come when you'll be back
you know
to
what,
some
Nick?
country.
Nick, do a show. You know, you do your Nick files. Do a Nick files on your haunted prisons of America. I think that'd be really, really interesting.
Yeah, that
That
would be
would
very
be
interesting. That would be very interesting.
That's if you
I
can.
would
You
love
might not want
see
to.
that. If he wants to do it, I'd love to see it.
Because America must have some amazing, amazing stories. Not just haunted prisons like old prisons, but prisons of today, like the more modern ones.
Well, you've got
Because,
the county jails as well in America, haven't you? Where they had especially a lot of down western stuff, or
yeah.
Yeah.
across west.
Oh, Jay.
What's Jamie
Yeah.
doing?
He wants us to look at the ceiling.
Lovely.
He's making me seasick.
He's looking handsome tonight for some reason. He spruced himself up for us.
Yeah, still out of shape though.
Yeah, it's got that rough and rugged
Yeah.
look going on.
He
could be.
wants to.
It could be the new pin-up man for Eau Sauvage.
Ooh, Savage.
Eau Sauvage.
More like Old Spice.
Old Spice.
What? Oh, what? Bro,
Splash it all over.
splash all over. Splash all over.
You're waiting to come to Scotland, love.
We are going next year. We're planning a trip up to Ayrshire.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Close to Lois, and we're going to meet up with Lois and we're going to do some investigating together while we're up there and just hang out and have fun.
And Dan's going to write his Dear John letter to
Oh
Hazel.
yeah. I'm coming up in a van. with all the stuff.
with all his stuff. And I think Steve's going down south to Hazel. Wife swap.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
We're doing a swap. We're doing a
Poor
straight
Steve.
swap.
Straight swap.
I can't wait.
Honestly, you don't know what Dan's like. I don't know how Hazel does it. Honestly,
I don't.
Poor
I'm a
lad.
handful. I don't have this puts up with me.
and I only know a fraction of what Dan gets up to. I mean, Hazel gets the whole shebang. Poor woman.
You know loads because I'm spending more time with you than I do with her.
Shh, don't tell Lois. Shh.
I know. I'll be like, come on, you two.
See, Parker is more mummy's boy. Mummy
Yeah.
Viv.
Mummy Viv, yeah.
I look after Parker.
Yeah.
He knows how his bread's buttered, doesn't he?
I do.
How's
That's
how's
what I
everybody been? Everybody been okay, have they?
do. Working
How
hard.
have you been surviving with this hot weather in prisons? I mean, are they air conditioned or not air conditioned, or
I'm not in
they're
prison.
not?
No,
Not talking about you.
no, they're
You
not.
can. We'll put you in prison if you want.
They will want me.
Kick you out. Oh, we're not.
Kick me out.
Send him to the
Send them all
Macca's
away.
yard.
It's all true confinement. I'll watch them. I'll keep it out.
You got to guard
Yeah,
from the inside though. You can't guard me outside.
I know I'll be on the inside going,
He's more likely to get the those nice what I call patties, brown patties, and throw them at you, Lois. So I wouldn't.
Oh,
I wouldn't trust him.
yeah.
I wouldn't trust him.
No, I wouldn't.
that's
I
fine.
wouldn't trust.
I'm geared up.
Not in
Oh,
New York,
then
but here in
why?
Florida, I believe. So Florida has air conditioned prison, because I can imagine
I
that
suppose
that
it
would
must be
also.
roasting out there.
Yeah, because doesn't that affect the mood of prisoners to like
Yep.
want to riot and things like that? You know, I would hate to be in a prison officer in a prison with those kind of conditions with no aircon. Like, your job must be really hard, not with the hauntings and stuff, because you've got that happening anyway. But on top of that, if you've got this severe weather and this heat that the prisoners can't cope with, I should imagine it makes it very dangerous. You know, even
Yeah, I
the
would,
most,
yeah.
like even your basic cat burglars that are, small time.
Even the
thieves that
prison
would-
guards working in that heat must be horrendous work. Like as a prison guard, going up and down the whatever, checking things out and walking around.
Yeah.
You must be sweltering out there.
Yeah.
And plus as well, the protective gear that you guys have got to wear, that'll make it 10 times worse.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I just think those prison guards and wardens across the world, whoever you are, we have to salute you, because I don't think they realise what you actually do for a living. I mean,
Yep.
nobody ever really discusses it. Yes, you lock a prisoner up and you let them out, then you lock them back up again, and then you let them out. If they're right, put them back in their prison, solitary. It's more to it than that goes on, and I think people don't realise how much of a job. You know, you're not only a nursemaid and a wet nurse to them sometimes, having to be mum, dad, and the voice of reason. You actually have to work under quite bad conditions as well sometimes. So I think that
Look what Bobby's just put up.
let's put it up. Let's have a look at it up. Wow,
Oh,
Oh my god.
Bloody hell.
it's crazy. That is crazy.
yeah.
The prison, the walls in the prison would weep. Wow.
Yeah, no condition, nothing.
Oh my god.
It's
I
like
think
our
people
prisons over here. A lot of our prisons over here are Victorian, aren't they? So
Yeah.
there's no air conditioning or anywhere to put it, is there really, I guess?
Wow.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell. That's hot.
Yeah.
It's got,
Yeah.
No wonder people lose it.
Yeah.
You can see why people lose it, can't you?
aye.
Isn't there a prison in America, now Bobby might know, somewhere that they live in tents,
Yes.
and he makes them
That's Texas.
No,
Pink
that
bo-
is
pink boxer
Vegas.
shorts.
That's Vegas.
Is
And
it
pink
Vegas?
box-
Is it?
It's Vegas, yeah.
He makes them wear pink boxer shorts, and the
Yeah.
only channel they can get on TV is the Disney Channel.
Yes, Vegas.
Didn't they? He feeds them really, like a really
Shit food.
cheap budget as well. Yeah.
I think it's in the Arizona, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, it
Bob
might be
knows.
actually. Yes.
It's Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona.
I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen a
Bobby
documentary
says
on that.
Arizona.
I mean, do you think that's taking people's liberty? Well, you're taking their liberty away anyway, put them in prison. But do you think that's going over the top, really?
Not really.
Nah, I don't. I think you commit. There's different circumstances, isn't there? I think there's a lot of good people in prison. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of really, really good, and I've known a lot of people that have been in prison that are a lot nicer than a lot of people I've met that aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's why they're in there, isn't it? It's why someone's in there, and you know what? I've worked with people that have been idiots and recidivists, and they keep going in and out and in and out. And I do think to myself sometimes you'd be better off just kept in, you know, because you know no point. Bologna, that's it. Bologna sandwiches, that's it, Bobby. That was it.
And apparently it's quite successful, isn't it? He does turn a lot of things around in that prison.
They keep voting it. Isn't he? He's the guy he's the mayor or something as well, isn't he? Isn't he the mayor? They keep voting him back in, don't they? Because people like the way that he runs things.
It's crazy.
Yes.
Crazy. Can you imagine putting them in pink striped boxer shorts here?
Oh,
They'd
you'd
riot.
never get away with it, would you? Here, never
It
laugh
depends
at
on who's. Depends. Obviously, I can't imagine in Glasgow somewhere like Blarney them having that. Oh God, no.
it.
So I'll just move in my fan.
Oh, thanks, Bobby. Joe Appario or Appario. Thanks, Bobby. Bologna sandwiches. That's right. Yeah.
Is that what they're saying? Comes a load of opiate bologna.
It might be mine. I quite like bologna.
It's quite
I've
nice.
never actually tried bologna.
It's like
It's
a
alright,
sausage,
nice.
isn't it?
Yeah. It's really
It's like
nice.
liver
It's quite
sausage.
nice.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Can't beat liver sausage.
Lovely,
Oh
isn't
my
it?
God. Oh.
Or a nice bit of tongue. Have you had tongue in your sandwich?
Oh.
Is that a
Yeah.
euphemism?
No, tongue sandwich. It's a cow tongue, is it? Ox tongue.
And tongue off sandwich.
It's being disgusting.
He does use chain gangs. That's right.
Yeah.
I think that's good because they get them out, don't they? Clean up the
Streets and that.
freeways and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lois,
I
when
think
you
that's
come
a good
to
idea, though, don't you?
when you come to
Well,
England,
okay.
you're going to have a tongue sandwich, Lois. When you come to England, we'll give you one.
That's
I'll give you a knuckle sandwich.
Sandwich.
No, I'm going to offer you a tongue and a knuckle. Where do you think I'm going to go?
Oh, go with the tongue. Go with the tongue.
Yeah, Bobby says he also uses chain gangs. Bobby, are they still? I mean, obviously, are they still used a lot in America? Chain gangs, or is it kind of thing now?
Annette, have you tried a tongue sandwich? It's an actual thing. It's a meat that you can eat.
I
Yeah.
can remember that being like
Tongue.
ages ago.
Dan's lost it. He's going to have a tongue sandwich.
I like getting a tongue sandwich, with some fish fingers up in it. I like. I'm saying that.
By the way,
Tongue
for those,
sandwich with fishy fingers.
these people in America, it actually is a thing. Tongue sandwich and fish fingers.
Fishy fingers if you slip on your tongue.
Two of them have lost it. I can remember giving my kids a tongue sandwich once. They said, "What's this?" I said, "Just eat it. It's nice." They ate the sandwich under duress. They said, "I don't like this meat, Mum." I said, "It's not meat." They said, "What is it?" I said, "It's a tongue." They
Nice
were
tongue sandwich, but don't
trying to
stick
make-
the other bit.
honest- they were trying to make themselves sick and all sorts. It was funny.
Cold
It was funny.
cruelty, that is.
What? Giving your kids a tongue sandwich?
I just love.
You thought they eat weird stuff in Scotland, like
Yeah. Haggis.
haggis and
Aggie, I like haggis.
I can't stand it. Oh,
Tatty and leaps. Lovely.
so we don't have haggis here. Well, we can get it, but it's not a British thing. What we like now, Americans.
Scotland's Britain.
Well, close your ears, everyone. Close your ears. We have brains faggots.
oh, what?
But do you have faggots in Scotland?
No, that annoying.
Oh, they are lovely.
They are.
So, yeah, we can't say that word in America because it means something else, but it's
Yes.
actually a food.
Right.
It's just a form of food, guys. It's just a
It's a
form
form
of
of
food.
food. It is absolutely wonderful. I love it. I love it. So I prefer that over haggis. But I
hate
do eat
haggis.
haggis.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Bobby. Thank you for that. Thank you. That's interesting.
Bobby's trying to get me to say the word again. I'm not saying it. We get told off. It begins with
Oh, brother, that's a very funny movie. That
yeah.
I love that film.
Well, there's part of the film I didn't like it when they were running the cows over.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Get your tongue sandwich
Great
then, don't
film. Get your tongue sandwich. Don't slip your head off his fingers.
Yeah.
Mr. Winter, you've got to get 10 of the belt.
Oh, that's what I'm aiming for.
Right, see, since you said that, I'll times it by 2.
you?
Make sure the belt's studded.
Oh, got me in it.
We're moving around and putting rings.
See, we have a nice, clean show,
And then I turn up.
and then Dan turns up. It all goes hot after
So
that.
I always try and be professional, and then when Dan's
Yeah,
involved,
baby face
professionalism
Nelson.
goes whoosh.
He's what? What does?
Professionalism, it's like
Don't know the
It's
meaning of it, me.
it's just like, and then you're waiting for the ball to land.
And that's called golf, love.
Babyface Nelson, he was,
I
yeah,
did go,
shooting the
cheeky.
Tommy gun.
It'd be a whole different experience ordering that in America. Dan, how would you order a tongue sandwich in America? Excuse me, you've
I
got
don't,
tongue.
they must eat. Surely they must eat tongue, mustn't they, in America?
I don't know.
Or do they call it something else? Or
Probably call it something else, didn't they?
I would think
Because we
they-
get it,
yeah.
we get it from the delicatessen, so it's all sliced up fresh. But you can buy it in tins over here.
Mm.
Tongue, ox tongue, and stuff like that. Pig cheek, they have like pig cheek.
Pig's cheek, yeah.
It's meant to be
Quite
quite nice,
delicacy.
that.
Yeah.
We what do you call it over here as well? It'd be black pudding, which is sort
Yeah,
of
black
Scottish, north of
Blood.
England, Scottish, and an Ireland had white pudding, which is pig's blood, isn't it?
White
Oh.
pudding,
In
white
America,
pudding's like
they
stuffing.
do.
That's really nice. I had that when I
I
was
love
in
the
Northern
Irish
Ireland.
white pudding. It's lovely.
Bobby has tongue over there.
Oh, okay.
You get tongue everywhere.
Got to have a tongue
Probably do.
sandwich.
Oh,
Poor Lois.
Yep, there you go.
Oh dear. So let's pick it up out of the gutter, Dan.
All right, let's pick it up.
Oh, I guilty
It's
conscience.
It's naughty.
Have you farted?
No,
Oh dear. You guys are terrible.
Oh. You know what?
Oi, Jay,
Pig
stop
head.
picking your nose.
All right.
Jay's picking his nose then.
I'm not picking I was doing that.
Dan's just muted himself.
Yeah, keep him muted.
Like, I thought, have I? I haven't, have I? But I should be so lucky, says Annette. Yes, yeah, pig's heads are a lot of good meat on it, isn't there?
Oh, they used to call that brawn, didn't they? We used to boil it up.
Pig's
to-
brains
as
and
a-
stuff. Yeah, all of the.
Ugh.
We've just turned from prisons to the food channel.
I know. Don't the Arabs eat like sheep's eyes? Don't they?
The Good
Yeah.
Food Guide. Sheep's brains as well as a delicacy. Oh, do you know what? If you go to Egypt, you have to be really careful. Do not order a mixed grill, because in certain parts of Egypt, a mixed grill is the bull parts and the
The
Oh,
private
no.
parts
you
of the
get
pork.
you get everything. Is disgusting. If you don't know you're eating it, I suppose it's fine if you like it. But if you know that it, nah.
Oh, Bobby says it's called head cheese in America.
It's called what? Head cheese.
Yeah, pig's head's called a head cheese. Called head cheese.
Do you know there's just oh no. When I worked with an African lady, she brought in like actual like wee tiny fishies, and she was eating the fish heads and things like that. And just
Oh, what were they like? What type of fish was she eating? What were they? Do you know?
White bait. They can eat white
Yeah,
bait.
white
It's
bait.
That's nice.
the full fish,
Yeah.
but it has
It's
to be
like
grilled.
It's like a tiny little fish like that.
Yeah.
White bait,
Yeah, white bait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
I
nice.
tried it. I did try it, but it had to be grilled really crispy, so it was like just.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I like them. I like those. I had them in
It's just
Italy
like
with lemon on.
pinch my nose. Ha.
Oh, I like them. I like those.
Nah. I've eaten cockroaches. You know, you can get the game. I'm a celebrity. And
Oh,
you have these
Yeah.
dried. You can have these dried things in there, and they had dried crickets and little cockroaches, but they were so crispy. It was like eating a crisp, and they put salt and vinegar.
I've had the crickets of those.
They put salt and vinegar flavouring
That's
on
it.
them, so
Okay.
you don't actually taste them.
No,
So maybe you should send them some of those over to Nick to try.
they used to do things over here that you could get zoos used to sell them.
Not
Not the
the
cockroaches. Do you remember a lot of scorpions in lollies?
Yes.
Do you remember those?
Yeah. But no, it's we are disgusting as a race.
We have a British cafe here. I want to go try breakfast at the server. Traditional breakfast of eggs, sausage, and baked beans.
Yeah.
No, it's eggs, sausages,
Fried bread.
bacon, fried bread, baked beans, mushrooms,
Square
tomatoes,
sausage.
tomatoes.
Not so much in England because England doesn't serve square sausage.
No, but you can. I found my
You
mate.
can get it
my
in the
mate's
butchers.
Glaswegian. Yeah, there's a. Oh, it's a Scottish like freezer company over here. I can't think.
They sell
Is
it in
it-
Morrison's.
Is
Dan.
it
Do they?
Is
Yeah.
it Lothians?
You can buy it in Morrison's over here, the Morrison's supermarket square sausage.
It's lovely.
I'll send you decent square sausage.
I'm trying to think what do you call it? Square
homemade.
sausage. This is
Homemade
Scottish.
square sausage.
Oh, proper square sausage. You mean?
Aye. See that with fried onions and brown sauce
Oh,
and a can of iron
lovely.
brew.
Oh, lovely. But I do like haggis. I love haggis and tatties and leaps.
Well, since you're coming to Scotland, then I'll make sure it's all ready for you, honey.
Please,
Give
please.
The table.
Give him kedgeree and then he'll have a shock.
Oh, I've had kedgeree.
Iceland serves.
Hogs pudding, white and black, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Iceland does square sausage.
As Christine said,
Oh,
the
I
same.
love square sausage.
I think. Tell you, Dan. Honestly, square sausage, brown sauce, fried onions.
Do you know what, mate? My mate he's Glaswegian. He used to make it for me, and it was
Pudding.
like the brown sauce and onions and stuff. Oh, it was amazing.
So what are your favourite meal of all time? Start with Parker.
Oh, I really probably.
Start with starter, main and dessert. Your main meal. So if you was on death row and you can order anything you want,
Okay.
what would be your last meal?
I really don't know. It's quite hard, isn't it? To I don't like the squid, crispy squid. That's all right. I'll probably have that because that's quite nice.
Hmm.
And then probably
Back again.
Stop
Like-
fiddling.
fried chicken and chips,
Right.
and then some ice cream.
What about you,
Probably.
Lois?
Starter, I would have homemade soup because I absolutely hate soup out of tin. If we're talking plain Jane food, for a main course, I would love a steak pie. I love steak pie, especially with brown sauce and garlic in it. That's the way I make it. For pudding, I would absolutely fight everybody for it. Apple crumble. Absolutely love apple crumble. I will, honestly, between that and chicken, I'll saw your horns off for.
What would you have, Dan?
I would. What last meal on death row?
Yeah, your favourite meal. What would it be?
I would have a 40-foot by 20-foot cake with a ladder in it.
You got to have a starter, main, and a dessert.
I'll have soup with a ladder in it.
And what
I
about
would
for main?
have starter. I would have garlic mushrooms, I think. And then for a main course, it's got to be a good old British fry up in it with loads of chips and all that on it. Fried bread, the whole lot, the whole shebang, I think. And then for dessert, I think I'll go with Lois. It'll be apple crumble.
I would have it with you, my darling.
We have a spoon each.
That's it, lady with tramp.
See, I would have.
I'm not a
my
lady.
starter.
Sorry.
For my starter, I would have a prawn cocktail.
Oh,
But it has
very
to be
nice.
a massive prawn cocktail with prawns this big. So a
Yep.
prawn cocktail would be my
Nice.
starter. For my main, I would have pad thai.
What's
So-
that?
Oh, nice.
I would have pad thai with loads of seafood in it, loads of pork, beef, chicken, you name it, just massive pad thai.
Lovely.
You eat pad thai and you're always hungry afterwards, so I make sure mine's a mountain. And then for pudding, I would have, and I've only ever had this in the Middle East, it's like a jelly. It's a white, creamy looking jelly, but when you eat it, it tastes like rose.
Like white rose water.
It's just tastes of roses.
I've
Like
not-
Delight.
it's like a Turkish delight kind of flavour to it,
Mm,
but
that's
it's just jelly. And I think in some Middle Eastern shops over here, you can buy the ice cream version of it. So that when you eat this ice cream, it tastes like Turkish delight. It's absolutely gorgeous. But where I live, I don't see any Middle Eastern places anymore that I can shop, so I don't see it. But that's what I'd have for my pudding. Boring.
That's interesting.
Mine is boring.
No, it's not. It's not really. It's what you like, though, isn't it? It's not what.
Yeah.
And I'll have a few fresh lychees on the side. 'Cause I like a lychee.
Yeah.
I do like a lychee. Tinned lychees, I'm in heaven.
Oh, lychees are nice.
I'm not fussy.
Nice lychees.
So Bobby says pan-fried
Pan
steak,
fried spinach and cabbage are nice.
potatoes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, she's talking about white pudding.
White pudding.
Yeah.
Starter, main, and pudding. Yeah. It means pan-fried.
And yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but you can't beat a good old prawn cocktail around the world. Everyone
No.
knows. what
Absolutely.
prawn cocktail is.
Talk to him.
I've had some prawn cocktails in some funny places. I had a prawn cocktail in Borneo, and that was
Oh, what's that like?
just like our prawn cocktails, but the prawns are a bit.
What, you mean like 2 prawns and a load of bloody lettuce?
Load of
And
bloke-
That's not our ones.
a big
Thousand
chunk of
Island
lemon.
sauce. Yeah.
Half a lemon.
What would I choose? Yo, what would you choose, Nick? Come on, we'd like to know. It's a good subject, isn't it? Do you know what? That would be a good question when you're doing your EVP sessions. What was your last meal you ate?
It would be something different for the usual.
What if
Yeah,
you
learn
couldn't
something.
get apple pie, though? Apple crumble. What would you have then, Lois?
If I didn't have apple crumble,
Spotted dick.
I was just thinking that. Say that, spotted dick. Without the spot.
That's without the people in. I hope people in
I
America
would
know.
have to have tongue and tap it.
Tongue sandwich for a starter. Something
Fishy fingers, fishy slip.
fish a bit for a maid. Spotted dick and jam roly poly.
Only the spotted dick would only have to have chocolate at the tip.
At the tip.
At the top. She meant the top.
Oh, I thought she said tip.
She did. She did.
Freudian slip.
I'll take that back in.
Stubborn.
We're terrible on it. Oh dear. That's
Oh,
terrible.
dear.
Oh wow, is that the time already? We've done it.
Oh,
We do. We've been on for an hour, just over an hour and a half now. It's our longest.
Lovely.
We don't normally do the full 2 hours, even though we have a 2 hour slot, which is just quite interesting.
I didn't realise 2 hour slot.
And we've done it before though, with just me and you though, Lois, haven't we?
Yeah, it was you. Now we know what flavour to use.
Just dip the tip in chocolate. Be
Just
fine.
dip your tip in.
Try strawberry, whatever. You know, let's go.
Was these chocolate fountains? Shh, just dip the tip in. Mustn't be greedy.
Danny, you.
Apparently, once
your
you put the
chocolate
tip in, you can end up with the fountain.
You know, this is supposed to be a family-friendly show, you know.
Sorry.
It's all right, it's fine.
You'll get sacked by the motor. It's fine.
I'm just going to cuddle my fan. I'm heating up here. Can you hear that?
Oh, there's always talk about food.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I don't know about that because I haven't had a dinner in about 2 days. I've just not been
Why?
hungry.
No, hot.
No, it's the injections. They just
Has it really stopped you?
yeah.
Do you feel hungry though or not?
No.
So it's really sort of restricted your appetite.
Our work is working.
Don't use with Nutella and that's because you'll have to keep stuff.
She don't want the
Very
crunch.
true.
I'll try no bite.
Mind you, I have discovered when I was in the States last year, not this year, last year, I came back with a peanut butter whiskey.
Oh
And
yes.
it's the most, it's so lush.
Yeah.
Just drink it neat.
What was it?
Phenomenal.
Peanut butter whiskey.
Brought back from the States.
Nice.
Oh, more like Moorish. It's just like
Just get drunk very quickly on it. I don't think it's that strong though, is it?
it's just really nice, isn't it?
Jamie,
Really
what are you doing?
nice.
Because you make me feel sick. Because you pick me up and put me down.
Just getting himself a drink or something now.
Fireball.
Yeah, we
I've
get
never
Fireball
tried
over here. We get that over here.
Yeah, Fireball's good.
No, peanut butter whiskey to me, it's just
amazing.
it's amazing.
Peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah, and we had was it
Who's
turkey?
Scott?
Hi Scott. We had honey whiskey, like the honey whiskies you can get here
Yeah.
anyway.
Jack Daniels,
Jack
isn't it?
Daniels. Jack Daniels and honey. Oh my god. To
But
die
this
for.
was turkey whiskey, which was a little bit different. But the peanut butter whiskey, oh my god, I just can't even begin. If you go
That's
over to
phenomenal, isn't
America,
it?
bring it
Phenomenal.
home, you'll love it.
Trouble is, once you run out of it, actually, you can get it. I think you can get it on Amazon now.
Can you get that
Yeah.
on
I
Amazon?
think you can get it on Amazon now. Yeah. It's phenomenal though, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing.
It is.
I remember when you brought it back and you gave me a taste. It was like, oh my god.
He said, I'll just try it now. He said, I'll try a little
Yeah.
piece.
Oh my
Gone.
god. Oh my god. This is too nice. This is too nice to leave the bottle full.
That's it. He's got to be try. He's got to try the whole bottle just to make sure it's all right. He doesn't want anything
Oh yeah,
to happen
my
to
bit was at the bottom.
The Drake.
Oh, Annette's saying something. I'm going to try this.
Oh no, I haven't, but it sounds like a trial.
Peanut butter and honey on a pork chop. Do you mix the
No.
peanut butter with the honey and then put it on the pork chop and cook it? Try it. I've done it with Jack Daniels. You know that Jack Daniels Tennessee sauce? I've cooked with that
Oh, I
before.
love that.
Oh
Give
god,
me a
Uzo,
bottle.
Bobby. I got drunk on that once. Oh, never again. I can't touch it. now.
Uzo, I've heard about that.
Oh, very nice. That like licorice.
Yeah. And
It's a bit like
isn't it?
it's a bit like Pernod. Pernod's the stronger version of
Pernod,
Uzo.
yeah, Pernod,
Pernod
yeah.
Black, innit?
Oh,
Yeah, you
Very
can
nice
do it.
drink, but I couldn't.
Ooh.
I can't.
I'm gonna try that, Annette. I'm gonna
That
try
sounds
that.
nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, are we gonna do a jar of doom
Yep.
Let's do the jar of doom.
for next week?
Oh, jar of doom.
So the jar of doom. I'll give it a good old shake. Right, Jamie, you've got to tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Right, I've got hold of this many. Hang
Next
on.
says I'm starving now.
Right, pick a number. 1, 2,
5.
3,
Oh,
4. 1, 2, 3, or 4.
oh, I'm gonna try that as well, Bobby. That sounds phenomenal. Same
What's
as
he
the
saying?
nets. It sounds phenomenal.
Peanut butter with hot pepper.
Hot pepper on pork.
I
Oh.
kidney, my stomach would die off.
Oh, amazing.
Peking traditions. What is a peking?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, very good.
Can't relate to that one.
No, me either.
What is a pagan? Not a piggin, pagan.
Pagan.
What's a pigeon? Do they know fly?
Dan's a pagan.
Oh, are you?
It's also a heathen. It's a bloody
got-
heathen.
Bloody
also-
heathen, I am.
He's also a dirty bitch.
I'm that as well. I'm that as well. I'm all of the above.
That's a northern word. My nan used to call me. Ah, you heathen. Get out of
You
here. she'd
heathen,
say to
yeah,
me.
yeah. You
I said,
heathen.
my nan, what's a heathen? She used to call me a heathen all the time.
Oh, everything I did when I was a kid, whatever it was like, if you did it wrong, what are you doing like that way, you heathen? What are you eating like that, you heathen?
It's a very old-fashioned word, isn't it? that
Proper old-fashioned word, isn't it? Yeah.
you don't hear of anymore, really.
Yep.
See, my nan
Yes,
was
it
not
can
religious.
mean different things to different people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I like ancient paganism. I'm not really, not that we've got many connections to it, but cayenne pepper powder
Wow.
and peanut butter is the shiznit. Oh,
Bobby.
and I like cayenne pepper powder.
Oh, Bobby's giving us a few ideas.
Yeah, I'm going to have to write these down, Bobby.
I don't think it's going to be very good for our diets, but we'll try them.
No.
It's worth a try, though. It is, isn't it? It is. Because it means so many different things to so many different people.
On Friday on Simply Spooky, we are talking about cryptids in the UK. Cryptids
Oh,
UK.
sounds nice.
Friday night. That's if we don't get banned. Our Facebook
That's so nice,
had,
Bobby.
they
Sorry, Bobby's
They
looking at.
chopped our intro because they said it was copyright issues, but it's
Oh, I
copyright-free
wonder what the
music.
situation was.
Yeah, but I never saw the message. Lois was telling me I never saw the message from him. Otherwise, I would have
Done it.
Yeah, but I haven't
No, that's
seen it.
fair
I have
enough.
I have looked for it since, but I can't find
I
it.
don't want to chop Mantro. I like Mantro. See, even when I don't have yous guys and like I go into Simply Spooky, it's the first tune that hits me and I start doing all my bopping and that.
So is it the tune or the video that, or is it all of it?
It's a tune.
The tune is royalty-free music that comes with your computer.
Oh, why that shouldn't be?
I know.
That should be.
I know.
Mind you, they've done that a few times. I remember watching a program or watching a guy before on YouTube, and he kept complaining. He was a musician. He'd write his own intros and stuff, and they kept going, "They can't use that." It's like I've written it. It's mine. You know what are you doing? He said, and they did it about 4 or 5 times to him, and he was like, "No, this is my music. I've written this."
Yeah.
And in the end, he just used something that was mundane that he could, because he said they'd get sick of it.
Yeah. But no, Friday's show's going to be really
Florida
interesting.
Man.
Florida Man. Don't know how the Tango Man is. He Florida? Because it's oranges, isn't it? Florida oranges.
Yeah, orange.
Tango.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does he?
What's the other one in America? Were they? Oh, well, I'm trying to think. I can't think of that. They're like little
lemonade.
cranberries.
No.
Lemon.
Cranberry juice. Ocean spray. That comes from
Ocean
Florida,
spray.
isn't it?
That's Florida, isn't it? Yeah, they've got great big like rivers full of them, and they'll like ponds and what have you. Right, I'm gonna lose battery life in a minute.
So this
Please
Wednesday.
don't go.
This Wednesday, just quickly, this Wednesday on Simply Spooky, we have Jeff Davis coming into the studio to talk about what he is, what he does, the historian in him, and the TV shows. So that's going to be an interesting one tomorrow night. So 8 o'clock, Simply Spooky. You can find us on Facebook or on YouTube. And then don't forget Friday show, Frighteners with Lois. That's going to be a good show. And I think on Saturday, William Becker has a guest on his show. I'm not sure who it is.
Oh, excellent.
But William will be on Saturday night. So there's lots going on. Take care, everyone. We're going to end it here. And we will be back. We will be back next week where we'll be talking about pagans and what is a pagan. Hope you can join us then. Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Nick, speak to you soon, buddy.
Bye.
Bye, Annette. Bye, everybody. Bye, Bobby.
Bye.
Bye, all.